So looks like we have an update. Sorry, I haven't read this yet, but last episode we talked about how LSAC had a little snafu on their website. I don't know if it's a little snafu. I'm curious what this update says, but basically, you can take the test 3 times in any given cycle, and historically, that cycle has always gone from May 31st to May 31st, which means on June 1st, the cycle resets and you could take more tests, even if you've maxed out the 3 times you could have taken it in the previous cycle. But LSAC posted something on their website saying, hey, the cycle doesn't reset till August. And this was creating some problems for people who were planning to take it in June
And
for
it
their
was,
fourth time.
yes, and it was causing some problems for people just trying to get the story straight. We had Brittany, who does operations for us, call twice to LSAC
hmm
uh, and try to get confirmation. And she was told twice over the phone that no, that page doesn't mean what it says. You're
hmm
still, it actually resets on May 31st, just like it always has. They told her that not once, but twice on the telephone
Mm-hmm.
recently, like a week ago
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
2 weeks ago. Okay. So like they clearly don't have their story straight. And then since I started yelling about it in classes and stuff, I've gotten a lot of different feedback from students, and they have confirmed that they too have gotten mixed signals. So they have emails from LSAC saying, oh no, that page does mean what it says. And June 2021 is part of the previous cycle.
Hmm.
But they've also gotten emails saying, no, yeah, June is for sure part of the next cycle. It resets on May 31st. And then we have this update. So you can read
Okay.
it.
Yeah, yeah. So this update is from Nicole. Thanks, Nicole. Hi, team. There was some drama at Nathan's April study group last week over the recent changes to the LSAC test cycle schedule. The change now includes June 2021 to the current cycle, making anyone who took their third test in April unable to take the June test. In other words, yeah, the cycle did not reset on May 31st. Instead, it goes till somewhere in August. As promised in the Zoom chat, I went Karen on them and sent an email to LSAC requesting an exemption. Only a couple days later, I was granted this exemption by LSAC and will be able to get all 5 of my test opportunities in before admissions open in September. I'm sure this change affects many more applicants than just me, and I would like to spread the word that there is hope. Let me know if you have any questions. Thanks for creating a community where fellow law school hopefuls can commiserate and spill LSAC tea. Uh, so wait, Nicole is confirming that the cycle does not reset until
Well,
August, but you
that's not
can get an
exactly what her
exemption.
email says. Her email says that they granted her an exemption,
Yeah.
which makes me laugh because it's like, oh, now it's an exemption to your own arbitrary policy that you changed without fanfare. And like, they, I don't know. It's just, it's wild that they don't seem to recognize that people take this test seriously. Like that people really will prep hard for it, and they really will exhaust all of their opportunities to take a test which determines where they're going to go to law school and how much they're going to pay to go there. And law schools only care about the highest score. We didn't make this system. We're just trying to help people navigate the system to their benefit. And that means that we advise people to take the test if necessary 5 times. I not 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 for any reason other than that's the max.
Sure. Yeah.
And schools only care about your highest score. So why wouldn't you, if you have the opportunity to take it 3 times in the spring and then 2 times more in the summer for a total of 5 attempts before you apply at the beginning of the next admission cycle, you should. But they like don't seem to recognize that that's what a rational behavior in the system they created are going to do
Yeah.
is going to do. And so they just then arbitrarily change that deadline, and only half of the organization even seems to know about it. It's like, I don't know. It's just anyway.
Yeah, it's strange. It's you wonder, like, I'm just wondering about the organizational politics or procedures that's leading to these kinds of outcomes, right? Like, is the person who got her request just like, well, I know I can't change anything around here, no one listens to us, so I'm just going to grant this
Right.
exemption? Or does this person
Right.
actually think that the organization as a whole is unable to acknowledge mistakes and fix them? I mean, I guess that's the
Mm.
same idea. They can't just apologize. They're saying, "Oh, we're going to grant you an exemption. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much for making an exception in my case," when in
Right.
reality, we're making an exception for them
Yeah.
by
Yeah.
appealing. It's just a weird.
It's an organization of lawyers, right? I mean,
Yeah.
it's like, well, yeah, I'll admit mistakes when I am forced to, and otherwise I won't. You know. Also, I'm a monopoly, so I
Yeah.
can essentially do whatever I
So
want. So
go
if I
fuck
can shut
yourself.
up this one, like, really, if I can make Nicole shut up by just
Mhm.
giving her the exemption she wants, then I'll just do that. It's easier
Yeah.
than like trying to make a grand change to our policy. And oh, God forbid I would correct this. If it's an error on the website, you could change it. I did
Yeah.
check, by the way, the web page has not changed, so it still
Huh.
does say clearly that, the ironic thing is it says starting with September 2019 test administration.
As if
And
this
then
has been around forever. It's like trying to act
yeah.
like it's some sort of precedent. Like, no, we've
Right.
been watching this for a long time.
No, yeah, no way. I mean, we didn't make up May 31st. We've only been saying May 31st because that's been the rule according to them. And then they just sort of like slipped in this weird change on us. And now they've got their hands full with at least anybody who's, listening to the show or um, paying it. And apparently Reddit's all blowing up about it now, too. Everybody is now asking for exemption and getting exemptions.
I'm not sure I understand the motivation for the change, right? The change clearly says, I mean, if this is legit, it begins with August 2021 and goes through the June 2022 test. So now the June test is included in the previous cycle as opposed to at the beginning of the next cycle. Why? Why? What's,
Well,
I don't
law
understand this
schools, especially
arbitrary.
super shady law schools, will accept a June test for the same year's admission cycle.
But who cares what cycle it's in for the sake of like admissions? They don't
Why do
care,
they
right?
have an arbitrary mid-year reset date to begin with? I mean, the whole
I
thing
don't
is
know.
arbitrary.
The
Make
whole
it a
thing
fucking
doesn't make it,
calendar year, and then nobody has to debate it.
or not even have a cycle. You can take it 5 times. Have at it.
Well, they've changed this policy 5 times in the last 3 years.
That's true.
And granted, they rolled out the digital LSAT, which, they made some changes around that time. They also had to navigate COVID,
Yeah.
which, I get it. I understand why you would make shit, Ben. We made big changes in our businesses over the past year.
Mhm.
Right. And so
Mhm.
I get it that things are in flux and you're going to be making changes. But um, so anyway, I wouldn't be surprised in the slightest if they changed this again. You'll recall that it was what, 2 years ago that they decided to just eliminate the limit altogether.
Yeah, and everybody was, some people were like, "What happens if I take it 6 or 7 times?" And it's like, "Huh, now that's not going to really happen anymore." I mean, it could in lifetime, I guess, but highly unlikely.
So this is where we are. We still don't know exactly what the reset date is, but it does seem like they're giving exemptions. If you had relied on the idea that the cycle was going to reset on May 31st, like it has recently, then you can email LSAC and get an exemption. I've also heard, Ben, of people who were registered to take it for a third time in April, and then they just went ahead and registered on the website for June, and it let them register. Um,
Mm. So the
Now
the
they don't
text on
yet
the
have a
website.
time with Proctor
Oh,
U. So it is
okay.
possible that they could like think they're registered and then not be able to get a time through
Mm,
Proctor U, which would
yeah.
really suck.
We're really going to drag you along. And then,
Well, and this is where it seems like organizationally, if I was, giving them some advice, it would be like, well, you've created a situation now where if I'm a student, if I'm a listener of the Thinking LSAT podcast, or if I'm a student in one of our classes, I'm probably going to be calling and emailing your customer service team to try to get some kind of a resolution, which clearly they don't want calls and emails to their customer service team because that's expensive.
yeah.
But they made the game. That's what people are going to have to do now. So hopefully we'll get more resolution in the coming weeks. By the way, email help@thinkinglsat.com if you have any LSAC tea that needs to be spilled.
Mm.